Morning glory and evening grace, America. I leave it to Mark Steyn of Mark Steyn World to tell us what just happened in Cleveland, because that may have been the most incoherent hour of questions I've ever seen. It continues to go on as we speak. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Hugh. That is the Mission Impossible, to sum that up. All I know is that I did want to self-destruct by the time I'd done the first five questions. Don't get me wrong, but Bill Hemmer is like the nicest guy.
He is!
He's always been very nice and very sweet to me, but the extraordinary condescension of those questions, that first round of questions, George Pataki, nobody's heard a peep from you since 1998. Why don't you just crawl away and die? The whole assumption of those first round of questions, I thought was pitiful, and it actually nailed, I think, the most obvious lie that people were saying about this so-called kids' table debate was that without the presence of Donald Trump, these other fellas would be able to have a much more substantive and rewarding and mature and adult debate. I thought the questions were mostly terrible, and the candidates didn't engage with each other, and whatever happens tonight, if Donald Trump wants to stomp up to the moderators and call them out as losers, actually, given the condescension of those questions from Bill and Martha, it would have been. I would have quite liked to see Carly Fiorina or Lindsey Graham do a little bit of that earlier.
Yeah, Mark Steyn, I'm taking lessons from this. And Bill Hemmer is a terrific guy. He's a Miami Redhawk, and I don't know Martha from Adam, but I know this. It's not their job to context question. Do you want to give nuclear arms to the Saudi Arabians? It's the job to inform the Republican primary voter about what these people think. You ask, what do you think of the Iran deal? What do you think of the Planned Parenthood videos? It's not hard.
No, it shouldn't be hard, but it's interesting the way, even in a so-called Republican debate on a so-called right-leaning channel, so many of these questions were essentially framed in the conventional Democrat perspective, the business about Roe v. Wade being settled
law.
What do you say to the sweet little child of an illegal immigrant who only knows America to live in? How are you going to be a big heartless meanie and tell her to clear off? The framing of the questions made the answers far less useful than they could have been.
Martha MacCallum actually said somehow, I don't know how she did it, would be like a 10 in the Olympics for a triple summel dip from the high board. She got from the Planned Parenthood videos to the war on women somehow.
Yes, and the war on women, good for Lindsey Graham, in a way, for saying that the war on women is actually being going on in Iraq and Afghanistan and West Africa and Syria and all kinds of other places right now where ISIS is selling 9-year-old girls as sex slaves for $165. I mean, people wonder why Donald Trump is in the lead. Donald Trump is in the lead because, like Newt Gingrich last time round, he doesn't accept the assumptions of the questions, and somebody at that point, they're all talented people. Carly Fiorina is an accomplished person. Rick Santourm is an accomplished person. But I would have loved it if one of them had said, "What the hell is with these questions?" One of the most important thing that the Republicans need to do in order to win is to challenge Democrat liberal assumptions as the default lever in which political discourse in this country is conducted. So if you're not flinging back war on women in their face, if you're not flinging back Roe v. Wade in their face, when we're not talking about women's rights here, we're talking about the industrial scale selling of baby parts, which only America does. You can't do it in France, you can't do it in Germany, you can't do it in Sweden, you can't do it in Norway, because they have basically first trimester abortion. So what are they? Are they part of the war on women too, because they don't like selling baby parts? At some point, one of these guys has to be man enough enough to fling the assumptions of these questions back in these guys' faces, because it was dispiriting and demoralizing to watch.
It was also the one point Bill attempted to provoke criticism of John Kasich on expanding Medicaid. Legitimate question, but not once did Hillary Clinton pass their lips. This is all about who can beat Hillary Clinton. The server didn't come up, Mark Steyn.
No, it's very interesting, and even when topical subjects did come up, they came up in this, as with the Planned Parenthood thing, they came up in a sort of cobwebbed, antiquated, liberal default way. And I don't know why this happened, considering the preparation that goes into these events. But all I can say is I hope what's going to be happening in 3 hours doesn't go this way, because this is terrible. This is terrible for the process. It's terrible for the energy, but I think it's also terrible for politics in general. This is not the way politics should be conducted.
Let me play you the question just asked in real time right now, because it sort of sums up what's wrong with the way that journalists go about talking to electeds.
Short answer to the following query. In 2008, then-Senator Barack Obama described Hillary Clinton as, quote, likable enough, end quote. What 2 words would you use to describe the Democratic frontrunner?
All right, now, Mark Steyn, that is so convoluted. And besides the point, the question is, can you beat Hillary, and why should people vote for you, isn't it?
Right. But everyone, when they're given the opportunity to host these debates, likes the opportunity to be cute. We saw it last time round, where people who have no business even attempting it, like that fellow at CNN, what's he called, John King, are trying to come up with these sort of labored, stilted, circuitous ways, where, as you say, a straightforward, head-on question to the nub of the matter is actually what's needed. And this was a disaster. I mean, this was an absolute disaster, but it was a disaster not so much because the candidates all defaulted to their stilted talking points, but because the questions were so appallingly and long-windedly conceived.
All right. Now